Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back again to another episode of the Relentless Transitions podcast. I am Teresa, if you have not been here before and recognize my voice. And of course, my lovely co host, Miss Rosalind Keith from Canada, is joining me. How are you doing today, Miss Rosalind?
I'm doing fine. We are in fall here already, and I do love this time of the year. But the air is cold, and I don't like cold. So
You don't? Oh my goodness. You know what? The fall and winter is actually, both of them are my favorite times of the year. I like the cold. I mean, I haven't ever lived in just
yeah,
snow, but I feel like I love the snow, like to the point that I just wish it would just snow all the way up to where if I open my door, it would just fall inside.
that's okay for one day, but when it goes on for 3 months, you get a little
Oh,
tired of it.
yeah, probably, probably. But welcome, everyone. We are so excited that you are here today. If you are watching us on YouTube, then you see our big, broad smiles. And if you're listening to us as you're driving or doing housework or whatever is going on, we hope that you can hear the joy in our voices coming through, whatever you're listening to us on. Because today we have a topic that is near and dear to our hearts. I know that I love thinking about what I am thankful for, how to be grateful, how to just be mindful. And the holiday season is coming. So, as you are learning more and more and more about us, the holiday season is just my favorite time of the year. I absolutely love it. Christmas is my favorite holiday, but really, I love it because of the fellowship. And so, what today we are going to do, Rosalind and I thought that it would be great to share with you the top 10 things that we are personally thankful for. And we hope that it will get you into the mood of just, if you are having some of those we call pooty days, and if the holidays can sometimes be overwhelming and bring about frustration or any type of sadness for you, because Rosalind, did you know that the holiday season is also for many the saddest time of the
Yes,
year?
yeah,
Because as they are reflecting on things that have happened throughout the year, or maybe in past years, or perhaps there have been losses during the holiday, it brings about sadness. So we're hoping that we're going to uplift your spirits today, and we are going to kind of give you a little nudge into thinking about what you still can be thankful for and grateful for today. How about that, Rosalind?
that's exciting. And I think that we've done a podcast on the power of gratitude. And so if you're really curious and struggling with this idea, go back and look at listen to our podcast, look at our YouTube video about it. Gratitude really can change your mindset, and the ability to connect to it and live with it and embrace it. It causes those big smiles on our faces, doesn't it, Teresa?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. It really does. I mean, no
Yeah.
matter how bad things are or how bad they get, yes, I get sad, but I try to connect to, but, when I really look around, things are still okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, things are
Exactly.
still okay. Well, I'm going to kick it off.
Okay.
I'm
Go.
out. So, the number one thing that I am thankful for is my mind. I am actually so thankful that, that I am in my right mind and that I can make my own decisions. I have mentioned before that, in my career, I am actually a registered nurse. And so I have firsthand experience of watching people, become confused, and it's not always due to dementia or Alzheimer's, but people who become confused and they aren't able to make decisions for themselves anymore. So I do not take that for granted each day. I am thankful that I am in my right mind and that I can make my own decisions.
That's powerful. That's very, very powerful. My number one as we were creating this list, I just really just wrote down first things that came to my mind. And first thing that came to my mind was my ability to learn from challenges so that I can start over. A few years ago, it's much longer than that. Of course, my marriage was falling apart and my whole life was crumbling. And I didn't know where I was going to go. And the ability to look at that and learn from it and grow from it has been so rewarding. I've found so many positive things in my life, including my new partner. And the only way I was able to do that was by learning from my challenges, which helped me heal and grow and become a better person.
Awesome, awesome. Well, you know what? Number two for me, believe it or not, so I'm segueing off of you, was that I'm thankful for my husband. I am, I'm thankful that we have a very positive relationship, that he adds joy to my life, that he makes me laugh, and that he provides me with stability. I have been married now for, it seems like 599 years. No, I'm just joking. But I've been married now for 24 years, which is absolutely amazing. And he still makes me laugh. He still, when I think about him, I still have joy. Have we had challenges? Of course, of course. If you look at our previous episodes, you will see how I said how I could have all these negative thoughts and I could have an argument going on in my head all by myself, and he wouldn't even know what was going on. But he still brings me joy, and I still consider our relationship to be a great one. And I'm thankful for that, because it could be so differently, and I am I'm just keenly aware of that.
That's wonderful. And it leads right into my next one, which is my new partner. His love and patience, and mostly his willingness to share vulnerabilities, and to be vulnerable and to make me feel comfortable being vulnerable, which is something I was never able to do before. I was never able to really truly share with somebody intimately, um, what was really going on in my head, and to find somebody that doesn't run away when you start crying, or going into that vulnerable space, but instead sits with you in your pain, is it's remarkable. And of course, he the ability to just have fun with him, and to dance in my kitchen, and him just kind of be okay with me grabbing him to have a dance to the song that's on the radio, and just enjoying the little moments with him. It's just something that always makes me very, very thankful and grateful that he is in my life. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you know what? While you were thinking, I said, we should do a podcast about how to build and maintain, a positive relationship. And I think that we'll do that. But then
Yeah.
also we can do one on how to recover, when the
Yeah.
relationship, goes wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that we will do that, because we're all about life, and living life to its fullest. We talk about business, and we talk about triumph in all of these areas. So that's beautiful, Rosalind, that you've been able to reestablish and reconnect, and take your joy even higher. So
Yeah.
I certainly applaud that, because sometimes, especially we as women, we get stuck, right? But
Yeah.
look, we're not gonna turn this podcast into that. But we could, right?
Yeah, we could. We
We
could.
could. We're
Because
just gonna
the,
we're
the
just
pod,
gonna keep, huh?
the podcast might end up being like 2 hours long,
Exactly.
you know?
Look, and then we'd have to get a drink and a cigarette. No, I'm just joking.
That's right.
But yeah, so we're sharing with you the things that our top 10 things that we're thankful for. But that's really awesome. So my next thing, and listen, we're saying all these great things about our men. This episode is one that we're going to make sure that they don't see
Yes.
or hear, because you got to keep them on their toes, right? I don't care how long it's been, you got to keep them on their toes, ladies. But the next thing that I am thankful for is my family. So I am thankful that, I don't have a huge family, but the family that I have, I love the fact that we can communicate with one another. They provide a source of stability for me, a source of acceptance for me that I don't get out there in the world. So, and they provide a safe haven, so to speak, because I can go out there and tussle with all of the challenges and all of the things that come along with the world. But when I am with my family, that is when I can truly 100% be myself. And I know, that I am being accepted. So I really appreciate that time that we do have to communicate with one another. And again, I have to throw that clinical piece in there, because sometimes, especially we strong women, we feel like we can just carry the torch, on our own. And I try to remind myself, as well as my other friends, that, no one is an island and we all need help at some times. But sometimes we can be so strong that we push everybody away. I am thankful for the fact that, that through it all, that they're still standing around me and we have great communication.
That's wonderful, and it's something that not all of us have, that close knit family feeling, and so it, it's a beautiful thing if you have that in your life, and certainly don't take it for granted if you do, because when it's not there, it's missing, and you feel it missing. So um, mine is sort of related to family, and it's going to surprise maybe Teresa in particular, but and maybe some of our listeners. I'm very thankful for my mother. As some of you, we've this has come up a few times in other podcasts, that my mother is my greatest source of stress, but she's also my greatest source of inspiration. Her courage in the face of physical and emotional abuse, and her pull up your bootstraps kind of attitude, have been such a source of inspiration throughout my life. Watching her, escape from my abusive alcoholic father with 7 kids between the ages of 4.5 and 15. So, 7 kids in 10 years, admire her just for that, let alone the ability in the early 70s to recognize she needed to escape and take us with her. And, we never once ended up on welfare, because my mom was resourceful, and she went out there and she took any job she could. So her pull up your bootstraps is the way I describe it. Like, she just gets on with business and gets on with her day and does what needs to be done. And that is just so inspirational to see somebody that could otherwise have totally collapsed, just make a life for us. And we were happy. We weren't rich, but we were happy. So,
yeah, sounds like she had great tenacity.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Look, that we'll have to talk about that in the podcast, about the times that we almost just gave it all up, right? Because we all face that thing, from time to time, whether it's us personally or we witness it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
And I mean, to have a role model like that is just something that you should be truly thankful for, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That probably helped you with what we were talking about earlier, to recover from,
Yeah,
your relationship and
exactly.
be able to
Yep,
pull yourself together
yep,
and, eventually find,
yep, for
true
sure.
love somewhere else.
She certainly was. Keeping her in mind certainly helped me through my decisions and my the changes I had to make. Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, for
mhm.
sure.
Awesome, awesome. Well, my number 4 is, my freedom.
Mm,
So I am super thankful for my freedom. As a speaker, but even before speaking, my husband and I used to travel a lot. And so I have traveled internationally and been a lot of places. And although they were really, really beautiful, there were differences that I noticed there as far as, the freedom or the freedoms experienced by the people. So I have always been super happy, when I returned to the US, although, I didn't have any issues, in those places or anything like that. But I am thankful for my freedom. And this is not necessarily a political statement either. This has nothing to do with politics. I am just thankful that, I do live in and my circumstances are such that I can read what I want to read. I can listen to whatever music I want to listen to, and I can go pretty much, anywhere that I would like. So I am thankful, for my freedom.
that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. I'm still following along in the in the family realm here, and this is going to maybe surprise a lot of women out there, um, or men, I suppose too. That I am great. I am thankful for my ex-husband, um, and without him, I would not have traveled and lived globally. I would not have two amazing adult children. I would not have known his family who welcomed me with open arms right from the beginning and still do. So while our marriage didn't last, there was a lot about our relationship that I am so thankful for and will forever be thankful for. And the ability to recognize that um, was part of my
Hmm.
healing process. So there
Hmm.
you go. It's a beautiful thing.
Now, you see, Rosalind keeps trying to turn the podcast into something else, is what she's trying to do over there.
Well, but it gives you an idea of why, where my gratefulness and my practice of gratitude comes from,
Well,
right?
absolutely, but
Yeah.
what you just showed us and what you said was how it's work, right? Like it's
Yeah.
easy to just, this is a bad situation, this is awful, and to only think about the negative,
Yeah.
right? But if you can somehow pull out of that, the joys that were experienced and get your mind focused on that, because you can't focus, it's like you can't look up and look down at the same
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Rosalind, see, she's trying to be sneaky. I'm not gonna let her do it, even though I'm just not gonna let her do it. But I'm glad that we have recorded this, because we are definitely going to have some awesome spin-off podcasts from this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
definitely great stuff to talk about. So my next thing that I am thankful for is my ability to affirm myself. I am super grateful that I have put in the work, to where I can get rid of what they call stinking thinking,
Yeah.
where I can get rid of like the negative thoughts that go through, my mind. And I know that I'm not the only person that has experienced negative thoughts, but because of that work, that personal development, that self growth work that I put in, then I can tell myself that I'm beautiful and that I'm worth it and that I can do it, especially in my business when I am attempting new things and it seems like, what in the world? I can I can pat my own self on the back and say, you're doing a good job, or you can do it. And at the end of my day, I can actually pull out and write down what I did right, as opposed to focusing on what went wrong. See how I
That,
did that? Not
Yeah.
what I did wrong, but what went wrong
Yeah.
and what I did right. So I am thankful that I'm able to do that, because I think that a lot of anxiety and depression that is being experienced in the world today is because, we aren't able to see the beauty in ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And stay tuned for another podcast topic there. Our we've already got this one on the agenda for stinking thinking. Um,
Yes.
so I'm still continuing along the family line here, and I'm thankful for my children. I really never dreamed of being a mother. I wasn't one of those little girls that walked around with the baby dolls saying I'm going to be a mommy or whatever. It just wasn't who it wasn't part of my genetic makeup, I think. Um, but I am so thankful that I did have my two children. They are two amazing, intelligent adults who impress me every day with their insight and knowledge and concern for global affairs. And I'm a proud mama, and I am so thankful that I have been able to be part of their um, growth. So,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Look, and I'm a dog mom. I'll throw them in. I am so thankful for my doggies, for my babies. You see one over there, that's Samson. They were at doggy daycare last week for a whole week, and I missed them terribly. But now they're completely exhausted. So there's no, they aren't being good office assistants this week. But uh, they're on security detail, right? But I'm really, I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful that I have them, because they do bring me joy. Just touching them brings me joy. The way that they look at me, the way that they, express that they care for me, and the way they follow me around. It just, that does bring me joy. So, for our audience out there, if you're looking for, a way to add joy, to your life, think about those things that bring you joy,
Yeah.
and, incorporate those things. It may not be a pet. You might not necessarily be a pet lover, but, if it's candles or if it's flowers, that's a new thing I've started doing for myself this year. Is once a month I buy myself, a bouquet of flowers. I just pick up a little. I love to look at fresh flowers. So whatever it is that will bring you some joy, if it is within your means, then incorporate that, into your life.
For sure. For sure. So what's your next thing on your top 10 list of things to be grateful for, Teresa?
Oh, my next top 10, it would be my ability to communicate effectively
Mhm.
with other people. I consider that to be really just a great attribute. It increases, like, um, it increases the stability of relationships. And then even with people that I don't know, just that ability to listen. I can hear what they're saying, but because I'm able to listen, then I'm able to give them a response that actually hits to the heart of the real problem. So my ability to communicate effectively with other people, I am thankful for that, because that has helped me tremendously in my education, in my business, and being able to be a speaker.
Beautiful. Beautiful. My next one is my longtime high school friends. This is a group of women that I've known since high school. They keep me young. Every time I'm with them, I feel like I'm 16 again. A few more gray hairs, but still the fun we have together, the things we can share because we have shared past histories. It's always we get together as a group pre-COVID twice a year, and it was always one of the highlights of my season was that those gatherings with we did one in the summer and one in the winter, and those gatherings with those good friends. We celebrated our 50th birthdays together. Next year, we're all turning 60. We'll celebrate our 60th birthdays together, and we do something fun and special. And like I said, we feel like we're 16 again, despite the aging bodies and the graying hair. And that's always a wonderful thing to be able to connect to that youthful spirit again.
Yes, yes, yes. It's always fun to get around people who can finish your sentences, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
they start laughing at just one
yeah,
word.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes. So, guys, we're up to number 7. We're up to number 7. So, my number 7 for me of my top 10 is my home. I am thankful for my home. It provides me with peace. It supplies me with shelter and warmth. And it's just a place of serenity for me. So I am thankful that, after I have gone out there, into the world, or even if I am working from home, that I have my home, and that you know it's like I'm like getting all emotional. It's like I'm just aware that not everyone or everyone has the circumstance to where home is a good place to be.
Yes.
And one thing that I kept saying to myself during the pandemic, once we really, the pandemic was the first time that I have been at home so much. Because we were all so busy, and you got to go here and you got to go there. But I would just walk around and just say how thankful I was that I was happy at home.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's
It's
no.
like not just the physical
Yeah.
place. Yes, I'm thankful that I have a place, but that it is a happy place for me. I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it doesn't matter what it looks like if it brings you that joy, right?
Absolutely.
It can be a one room apartment, but if it's yeah,
Absolutely.
it,
Doesn't even have to, yeah, absolutely. They're in the news during the beginning of the pandemic, or right at the peak. There were all these reports about increased domestic violence and
yeah,
abuse and
yeah,
things that were happening
yeah,
in the midst of the pandemic. And I was mystified, by that. But that is what I'm talking about. That, I'm not worried about those things. And, my heart goes out to anyone in our audience who is experiencing that, and who, for whom that is your experience. Our heart totally goes out, to you. We are not gloating or boasting or anything like that on this podcast, but we are sharing with you the things that we are thankful for,
yeah,
the things that actually bring us joy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. And yeah, it's not about making other people feel bad. It's about making people think about what they have in their lives that can bring them joy, that they can be truly thankful for. So,
Mhm.
um, so I've gone with the friends route again for number 7, because I've had kind of I kind of think of it as two separate lives. One is my life here in Canada, and one was my life living internationally for 20 years. And I have friends from all over the world because of that. And I am so thankful for them. And they keep me feeling connected to my life as a global nomad. Even though I've settled down back home again, they keep me connected to those precious memories of a life of opportunities that most people don't have. And I recognize that. I recognize that the opportunities I had were incredibly, truly extraordinary compared to what most people can have. And having those global friends that I can talk to about those experiences and relive those experiences, um, is something that I am very thankful for, because it was a huge part of my life and it's not so much anymore. But it doesn't mean I need to pack it away into a box and forget it.
Mhm, mhm. And you know what? So here is my number 8 is my friendships. So piggybacking off of you, I really
Yeah.
am thankful for, those friendships. And like I said, for having those people around me that, we can just start laughing at the mention of like one word. It brings us all back to a certain incident or something, a saying or something that was happening that was really funny and brought us joy at the time. Those people that, as they say, those ride or dies that you can just call, anytime, who are genuinely happy, for your successes and genuinely grieve with you, when you have losses and are readily there for you to push you forward and encourage you, when you really need it. For that, I'm really thankful to have those types of people in my life.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing to be able to have a group of people that when you're struggling, when you're um, not connected to your joy, they can connect you again to your joy just with one
Hmm.
word, right? It
Hmm.
just it makes a huge difference.
Hmm.
So I'm going a little bit along the lines of some of the stuff that Teresa shared earlier on. My number 8 is discovering mindfulness and meditation. Um, I had toyed with this idea and the skirting around spirituality for years and years and years. And when I came to the crisis point in my marriage, um, learning these techniques um, has been a truly amazing thing that I can take forward and use anytime I need to find stillness in my life. When things are roiling around me, whether it's coming from internal conflict or external conflict, the ability to just practice mindfulness and practice meditation 5-10 minutes a day in the midst of chaos um, is is a truly again just a remarkable way to connect to yourself again and learning those techniques, and they're not that hard to learn, but learning those techniques and having the ability to practice them um, is something I'm very thankful for. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And now my next one is it might seem just a little odd to some, but I am actually thankful for the sun and the moon. And why am I so thankful for the sun and the moon? It's because to me, in a world that is just seems to be changing so quickly and so full of uncertainty, like never before, day to day, to me, it seems like things are uncertain. That sun and that moon, it
Yeah.
provides me with a sense of certainty, and it also is a perfect example of how life just continues to move forward. That no matter what is going on, life just keeps going on. That clock keeps ticking. So, as sure as the sun rises in the morning, guess what? That moon is going to rise at night. And so that's why I am thankful for that. That when all else fails, I can look and see that the days are constantly changing, the seasons are constantly coming.
That's beautiful. My next one is my home, and this really echoes what Teresa was saying about her home. It's my safe haven. It was my dream board of a happier life. I bought this home um, maybe 7 years or so before my marriage broke down, but I had already had this feeling that things were not necessarily going to end well, and I needed the stability that this home represented. And so it was my dream board during that time of my life where I was struggling with making a decision, and now it has become my safe haven. It's the place I know I can go to and find peace. no matter what's going on outside of the world. During COVID, it was a happy place to be, and so this is. I won't go on much more because what Teresa said about her home, it's exactly what I feel about my home as well. So I hope people out there um, can find that for themselves, whether it's a studio apartment or whether it's a 4,000 square foot mansion. Find yourself hopefully connecting to a safe haven of your home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And so finally, we made it to number 10. So number 10 for me is, what is it, Rosalind? I am thankful for these holidays. So the holidays are coming up. And, as this lives on out there into YouTube land and podcast land, that is okay. Whenever you hear this, I am thankful for the holiday season because I love it. I love it. And did I say I love it? And so why do I love the holidays so much? Well, I love the holidays because it's a time to celebrate and it gives me an opportunity to celebrate. I love to, quite frankly, fellowship, and this year, again, we have the pandemic that is still lingering around, but I just love, taking, so it's going to look a little bit different, but I love to celebrate. And I'll, maybe we'll do something else to share with you some of the ways that you can celebrate in the midst of the pandemic, even though you aren't able to physically touch like each person. It also gives me an opportunity to reflect on all of the things that went well during the year. But you know what? I also give an account for, I identify, acknowledge those things that, didn't go quite so well. So it gives me an opportunity to reflect, and then it gives me an opportunity to refresh. So I'm always looking for that opportunity to actually refresh so that I can propel myself forward into the next year. So those are the reasons that I love the holidays. So it's not so much about all the gifts, but we will talk about that. But, I really just enjoy, just fellowshipping to me is a gift. And during the holidays is a time where just us as a country, we're more mindful about stopping to take note of the good things and celebrate with one another.
And that's exactly why it's my favorite time of the year as well. It just it really is a time of, people are nicer to each other. It's and I don't know any other way to say it except that it feels like fellowship is a good word for it. Exactly, exactly. Well, my number 10 is I am grateful for Mother Nature and the four seasons. She provides so many inspirational renewals. It's all about renewal, people. It's all about the ability, similar to your sun and moon thing, it's about the constant revolution of the world and the constant movement and the constant change that brings opportunity, basically. And to be able to look at it that way is a wonderful thing. So yeah, but sorry for those of us watching us on YouTube, my cat has joined the conversation.
Your office assistant has now arrived. Late.
Yeah, late as usual. Typical cat, right? Yeah, typical cat. Mind of her own, will arrive when she darn well sees fit. So yes, so I have a fur baby too that brings me joy. So even if she shows the YouTube video, but yeah. So yeah, it's I've loved sharing these little moments of joy that I can be thankful for throughout the year, but at this time of the year, and especially, people seem to take more time to recognize what they can be thankful for. and it, but don't stop just because the season ends.
Right, exactly. So that's all that we have for you guys today. We are so thankful that you are on this journey with us as we look to seek for triumph in every aspect of our lives. We hope that this particular episode has put a smile on your face as it has put a smile on ours. Our takeaway, from today is really that to be thankful for something, it doesn't have to be the absolute most, the biggest thing or the most expensive thing. Just, there can be joy found in the simple things in life. And what we would encourage you to do is to take some time and come up with your top 10, and we would love it if you would share some of those with us. Certainly, you can leave a comment if you go to our YouTube page, which is at Relentless Transitions, or you can send us an email at relentlesstransitions@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time.
Go forward and be thankful, everyone. Thanks for listening.